Alright, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat mga ka-review at welcome back sa ating munting channel, okay? At eto na nga, pasadaan po natin ang balitang ito, ating pong reviewin bigyan ng reaction video, komento at kritisismo kung meron man po, okay? Ito po ay mula sa ating paboritong news files mga ka-review. Nako po nakakagulat po ito. DepEd Secretary Vice President Sara Duterte, yan mga ka-review, tumutol at pumalag sa utos ng Amerika. Nako, ano kaya itong utos na ito? Napatirahin ang mga Áfgháns dito sa Pilipinas. Yun pala mga ka-review. Yan, natutol po ang ating Vice Presidente. Napatirahin ang mga Afghan refugees dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? So yan mga ka-review, pero bago pong lahat, bago natin simulan ang balitang ito, kung di ka pa po nakapag-subscribe at bago pa lang po sa ating munting channel, please don't forget to subscribe at i-click na rin po ang bell notification para updated po kayo sa lahat ng ina-upload sa ating balita araw-araw, okay? At eto na nga mga ka-review, pumalag na Vpsara Duterte tutol sa utos ng Amerika. Di nyo kami basurahan. Yan, Vpsara talagang palag na pumalag. Eto mga ka-review, sama-sama at sabay-sabay po natin pakinggan, panoorin at bigyan ng komento, reaction video at kritisismo kung meron man po, no? Eto na.
Vice President Sara Duterte pinakita ang tapang at bagsik niya sa utos ng Amerika na patirahin dito ang libo-libong Afghan. Well, ang iba ay nagdadalawang isip pa. Siya naman ay walang paligoy-ligoy at diretsahang inexpress ang kanyang pagtutol sa gusto ng US na patirahin dito ang mga Afghan refugees na napag-alaman pa lang naging empleyado ng US. Through DepEd spokesperson PAT1RAH1N, ibinahagi niya ang side ng DepEd at ni Vice President Sara Duterte tungkol dito sa isyu na ito. Hahanga kayo sa talino ni Vpsara nang iparating niyang hindi siya payag dito dahil una, lalabag ito sa ating batas at soberanya. Pangalawa, bakit tayo susunod sa US kung sarili nga nilang batas ayaw nilang baliin para ma-accept ang mga ito sa kanilang bansa, tapos tayo aasahan nilang baliin ang ating sariling batas para sa kanila? No way. Pangatlo, delikado daw ang mga ito sa mga rebelde, baka mabiktima pa daw ang mga ito at magamit. At panghuli ay nag-agree nga si Senator Amy at sinabing mas magandang unahin na muna natin ang pabahay para sa sarili nating mga kababayan sa Marawi kaysa unahin ang ibang lahi. Ngayon ikaw bilang Pilipino.
So yun nga po mga ka-review, di ba? Napakalaki pong palaisipan, di ba? Kung tatanggapin natin ito sila. Kasi nga unang-una, mas nangangailangan pa ngayon, marami pa ang nangangailangan ng Pilipino, di ba? Walang mga bahay. Di ba? Tama po talaga si Vpsara, no? Palakpakan po natin, no? Napakagaling po sa hindi pagtanggap dito sa mga Afghan refugee, mga ka-review, At saka napakatapang din po ni Vpsara para gawin ito, di ba? Amerika po ang kanyang binangga. Nako, palakpakan po natin, Yan ang may paninindigan, ito nga mga ka-review, nagdududa pa po. Baka magkabayaran yan dyan sa Senado, di ba mga ka-review, ito, opinion lang naman ito mga ka-review, di ba? Baka nga po magkabayaran para lang mag-agree dyan sa unang-una, bakit nila ilalagay sa Pilipinas, di ba? Napakalayo na po ng Pilipinas sa Afghanistan, di ba? Ganun na po ba talaga tayo ka progresibo para lagyan ng mga refugee? Yung iba nga nating mga kababayan, mga ka-review, nag-abroad pa Diba? Pumupunta pa sa ibang bansa para, di ba? Tapos tayo mag-adapt ng ibang lahi. Hindi naman tayo sa nagdadamot sa ating bansa, pero mga ka-review, hindi pa po talaga, sapat sa tingin ko, hindi po talaga kaya ng Pilipinas ang ganyang klaseng ano. Kasi kulang nga sa atin yung mga resources natin, di ba? Nag-i-import pa nga tayo. O tas patitirahin mo pa yan dito mga libo-libo. Saan naman yan na bibili? Dito rin sa atin. Sa palagay niyo po ba mga ka-review, tama po ba? Hmm? Bilang isang Pilipino, tama po ba yung ginawa? Agree po ba kayo sa ginawa ni Vice President Sara Duterte? Hmm? Ako po, napakalaking agree po ako dyan, ha? Salamat po, Vpsara, kasi inuna mo yung mga Pilipino kaysa dyan sa mga ibang mga Afghan, no, na hindi naman tayo, wala naman tayong responsibility dyan, diba? Kung ang Amerika ang may responsibility, sila ang gumawa ng aksyon, diba? Kaso nga lang ginagawa nilang aksyon, tinatapon rin sa ibang bansa. Gaya nito, no, tinatapon sa Pilipinas, nako po. Ha? So yan mga ka-review, ano po ang yung hinaing, no, about dito, ano pong nararamdaman? Tama po ba yung ginawa ni BP Sara? Well, i-comment nyo lang po sa baba para at least alam natin kung ano ang inyong mga nararamdaman sa isyong ito, no? Yan mga ka-review, patuloy po natin panoorin.
Sang-ayon ba kayo sa pagpalag at pagtutol ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa kagustuhan ng Amerika na patirahin dito sa Pilipinas ang libo-libong Afghanistan?
I'd like to call on Yusek Poa, who also appears to have a different understanding of the same.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, basically, because this has been a subject of consultation with the national government agencies, DepEd being one of
Yes,
them.
that's correct. There are already, as far as this hearing is concerned, 3 meetings of record involving many, many agencies.
Yes, ma'am. Although on the part of DepEd, we were only able to attend one, which was last June 7, wherein we also registered, and we also want to register now and state for the record our vehement objection and opposition to the proposal in its entirety. This has been formalized through, again, as I've said, through our comments submitted to the Anti-Terrorism Council, mainly on legal grounds and on security issues. If I may just quickly summarize.
Yes,
On the
please
legal
do so.
grounds, the department, of course, under the stewardship of the Vice President, Secretary of Education, feels that this will delve into an issue of sovereignty. As we all know, in sovereignty, the exercise of rights and functions of a state must be exclusive from intervention from other states or interference. And in this case, this will include the right to determine who can enter the country and who can stay in the Philippines, whether temporarily or permanently. But in the proposal, at least in the notes that were given to us for comment, it seems that the vetting process will be done by the United States of America. And therefore, this is an interference into our exclusive determination as to who can enter our country. And secondly, of course, as I've mentioned during the June 7 meeting, based on the information given to us, the only reason why the U.S. will not be processing these Afghans in U.S. territories is because some internal rule, law, regulation prohibits them from doing so. And if we may echo what the statement of the chairperson, why would the U.S. expect us to bend our rules if they are not willing to be flexible in theirs?
Yan na nga po mga ka-review, ayaw nilang labagin ang sarili nilang batas. Tapos eto tayo ngayon uutusan na luwagan ng ating batas para sa kanila. Naku, napakalaki pong nito, insulto para sa atin. Ano kaya ang ano ba, sa katapos-tapusan ba nito, presidente pa rin ang magdidesisyon? Mga ka-review, kasi, diba? Kung presidente pa rin ang magdidesisyon nito, wala tayong magagawa kung ano ang kanyang desisyon, diba? No.
And that is really a concern of the Department of Education under the Vice President. And of course, aside from that, it's really the security concern. As you know, the schools have been witness to armed conflicts locally. The local terrorist groups is really a concern of the department. And with the presence of Afghans here, if the NSC is saying, or or NICA is saying that there's low risk in terms of infiltration, we do worry about them being
So yan mga ka-review, isa pa yan po, no? Na yung security pa nila. Bibigyan pa natin sila ng security. Ako po, sarili. Kasi nga po, sabi nga po ni Secretary, no? Na, di ba, posible silang makidnap, di ba? Ng mga terorista dito sa Pilipinas. So yan, security pa. Nako, talaga napakalaking problema nito.
targets because again we feel that this might have the risk of further exacerbating an already unstable situation as regards local terrorist groups in some areas in the country. With that, ma'am, I guess we just have to summarize and again state on record our vehement opposition and objection to the proposal in its entirety. And we have again submitted our comments signed by the Vice President to the Secretariat for your perusal.
Thank you very much, Yusek. During the meeting, you were informed that the DepEd would have to educate the families of these Afghan employees of the United States government.
No, ma'am, we did not get to that point.
Why then were you invited?
I think we were invited because DepEd was simply asked to comment by the ATC, the
Not because
Anti-Terrorism
you were going to
Council.
be directly involved.
We haven't gotten to that point. However, during the meeting, we already registered our objection on the proposal. So we didn't really get to the
On
point of where
principle.
DepEd would be participating. Yes.
Yes, without commenting on your direct participation, together curiously with the DOTR and DOST. I was a little bit perplexed by the assemblage.
That's correct, madam.
Thank you very much, Yusek. Anyone else would like to add to the discussion? Since I have no further questions, Commissioner Tansinko, I simply wanted, by way of information, to clarify the chart that you provided, indicating that, in fact, since the declaration, once again, of the Philippines that we were open to Afghan refugees, particularly following the heart-rending videos we all watched upon the departure of the Americans from Kabul, there appears to be a total of 137 Afghan nationals who have arrived in the Philippines from 2021 to 2023. Is that correct? I refer to the chart submitted by our office herewith.
Yes, ma'am. It is correct, ma'am, that the 137 arrivals from August 1, 2021 to June 14, 2023 comprises all visa categories, not only refugees. It includes the Section 13A, married to a Filipina, and 47A2, 47B, 9A category, seaman.
Yes, but in your listing, I refer to refugees because that seems to be the relevant category. That's 47B. Refugees. In 2022, you recorded 4, but in your final tally, only 1. Which is the correct number?
The final tally, ma'am, is 4 in 47B.
Okay. So we have 4 Afghan refugees already in the Philippines.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you aware of their whereabouts? Are they working? Are they married? And do they have families in the Philippines?
Yes, ma'am. They are still in the country.
Ano na?
Yes, we'd like any information on them if you don't have it on hand, even for 47A2, because that seems to be a large number, 42 Afghans under 47A2.
The 47A2, ma'am, on the 2021 year, the 31, this includes the 29 that arrived in.
Ito mga kabayan No, napapaisip lang ako eh, habang pinapanood ko yung video, no. Ito po kasi pag ito nakapasok dito mga ka-review, malaking ano na to, insulto sa atin mga ka-review ng Amerika. Bakit ha? Kasi tingnan mo, nung una, pinayagan na silang mag-additional ng mga, yung sa EDCA, di ba mga ka-review? Additional EDCA sites. Tapos eto naman ngayon, mga refugee. Parang mukhang ano sa palagay niyo mga ka-review, hinahawakan na ba talaga tayo? Under control na ba talaga tayo ng Amerika? Yun kasi yung naiisip ko eh. At saka ito pa naiisip ko mga ka-review, opinion lang naman po ito ng isang simpleng tao. Di ba? Pag ito nakalusot dyan sa Senado mga ka-review, duda ko lang magkakabayaran po yan. Ha? Bakit po? Kasi walang normal na Pilipino ang magpapapasok dito. Di ba? Baka sabihin na ba? May mga envelope. O ito, bumoto ka lang ng yes. O, ipasa nyo lang yan sa magbubuhay na kayo. Di ba? Yung opinion lang naman yan mga ka-review ha. Wala po tayong hinahawakang ebidensya. Opinion lang po. Ha? Kayo po ba mga ka-review? Ano sa palagay nyo? Posible kaya yan? Or nasa presidente naman talaga yan, di ba mga ka-review?
September 8 of 2021, but they all departed on December 20 of the same year.
Okay. Okay, there's also a large number of DFA-issued diplomats. 28? Andito pa sila?
We have no data as of now, Madam Senator, but these are all issued by the Department of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you. Tinatanong ko lang kasi kung baka naman, kung 137, kahit papano, may community na ng Afghans dito, kaya karapat-dapat lamang na pumunta sila sa Pilipinas. Pero kung aapat lang at hindi pa natin alam kung nasan sila, palagay ko hindi community yon. Wala silang pag-uuwian, wala silang kamag-anak, wala silang kakilala. Yun lang ang tinatanong ko dahil nalilito ako kung bakit ang Pilipinas ang napili sa dinami-dami ng bansa. Samantalang alam natin, napakaraming Afghan sa ibang lugar sa Europa, napakadami sa Pakistan, karami-rami nila sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Asia. Yun lang. Anyone else who...
Siguro kung mga ka-review, hindi lang po talaga tayo sanay, no? Ha? Hindi lang po tayo, kasi marami rin namang for example, mga Chinese, diba? Na nandito sa Pilipinas. Kaso nga lang yung mga Chinese mga ka-review, napakatagal na nito dito sa Pilipinas, di ba? Ilang dekada na nandito, century na siguro. Di ba? Nandito yung sa Pilipinas yung mga insect. Kaya sanay na tayo sa mga Chinese, di ba? Siguro kung hindi lang tayo komportable, no? Siguro kung may karapatan din naman silang mamuhay dito sa Pilipinas. Pero hindi lang siguro natin matanggap mga ka-review kasi hindi tayo komportable sa mga Afghan, di ba mga ka-review? Hindi tayo komportable sa sa palagay nyo mga ka-review? Kasi marami naman talagang ibang lahi dito sa Pilipinas. Pero bakit iba kasi yung pakiramdam, no? Dito sa mga Afghan kasi unang-una parang pinipersa tayo na dito sila patirahin, di ba? Ng Amerika. Unlike yung ibang lahi na talagang di ba? Mas sila eh. Parang natanggap natin because of true time, di ba? Ito, isang bagsakan lang. Community agad. Kayo po mga ka-review, ano po ang inyong opinion dyan, ha? Siguro kung hindi lang tayo komportable, no?
Who would like to add something, maybe from the AFP? Anything else that you'd like to share with the committee, please?
Definitely, ma'am. As far as the AP is concerned, ma'am, we are aligned with the statement of the Secretary of National Defense on this issue, ma'am. We already took into consideration our
Yes,
national
sir,
security.
Colonel. Which statement of the Secretary?
Everything, ma'am, and on the more specific level, ma'am, for us, for the AAP, ma'am, we also joined the manifestations of the NBI, ma'am, on the security level, ma'am. It would be more prudent to limit the movements and engagements of the applicants, if ever this will be granted, to the specific site, ma'am, for the protection of also of the of
So yan na nga mga ka-review security, kaya yung sabi ko kanina, di ba? Yung seguridad nila, dapat ang protektahan. Additional lang naman ito. Ba? Hindi nyo nga maprotektahan yung sambayan ng Pilipino. Di ba? Nako. Matindi po ito mga ka-review Kung PNP po ang hawak sa di ba? Maraming issue ngayon sa PNP. Pag military naman, di ba? Gamit natin yung Philippine Army. So, sino magbabantay nito? Kasi sigurado naman tayo, hindi lahat, di ba? Ng mga Afghan mababait. Yung iba diyan gagawa rin ng kalokohan, hindi, di ba? Hindi lahat ng prutas sa basket, di ba? Ay talagang hindi bulok. May mabubulok din diyan pagdating ng panahon na hahawa sa buong community. Yan yung po, no? Medyo delikado talaga.
of both parties, ma'am, the local population, also the applicants, ma'am. And also, ma'am, finally, ma'am,
So I take it to mean that the DepEd and USEC PUA are alone in their vehement objection.
also join their manifestation, ma'am. Also,
You can't join everyone, Colonel.
yes, ma'am.
Pick a side. Attorney Guro, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, we share the same position with DepEd in as much as we welcome the Afghans because they are our brothers and sisters in faith, but with the current discussions ongoing, we are not sure, not really on the protection of our citizen, but for their protection, which might affect also because one factor to be discussed here also, as pointed out by Secretary Teodoro, is the type of accommodations that we have. These are Muslims, so the religious and the cultural sensitivities of these people should be factored in also. So we join with the same position with DepEd.
So yan mga ka-review join sa DepEd na. Malaki talaga ang diba? Hatak nitong si Vice President Sara Duterte, di ba? Yan, kung di ba? Kung nag-yes yan si Vpsara. Sigurado, marami rin ang susunod na mag-yes niya. Di ba? So yan, pakam po talaga natin saludo po kami sa inyo, Vice President Sara Duterte. Yan
vehemently opposed to in its entirety for allowing them to be housed here in the Philippines.
Higit sa lahat, Attorney Guro, hindi ba dapat unahin ang housing sa Marawi City kesa sa dito? Okay.
Tama po yan mga ka-review. Napakalaki po talaga ng butas ng di ba? Ng pagpapapasok na ito. Kung ba, bakit na marami po ang walang mga bahay na Pilipino. Nako po, maawa kayo. Isipin niyo po muna yung mga Pilipino na sila naman talaga dapat na may mas karapatan sa lupang sinilangan natin. Nako, maawa po kayo.
Okay, sino pa? May dadagdag po? Anyone would like to add? Yes, Secretary.
Just a
Teodoro,
final
please.
recap, ma'am.
I know you're brand new and you weren't privy to the earlier discussions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, insofar as the department is concerned, this is now dependent on the legal opinion, depending on the legal opinion to be given and issued by the DOJ. If they say it's legally permissible, then,
As a bar top notcher, what is your legal opinion?
ma'am,
I won't nail you to this, the Secretary of Defense. It's just you and me, Gibo.
No, ma'am, there are ways that it can be legally permissible, but we have to anticipate the what ifs. And then we have to bring on to the other side and be certain that they are ready, willing, and able to execute their undertakings. That we have to determine.
And if you have sanctions and means
Madam Chair, perhaps
to
then
obligate the same?
and it's reputational risk once again.
Right.
I think that is the strongest sanction that one can give to bring out.
Mukhang, mukhang pabor pa ito si ano DND Gibo, no? Ay, yung ano niya ha. Parang pabor eh. Ano sa palagay niya mga ka-review? Pabor pa?
A case, just like you have so
I don't know that
expertly
the
done.
Americans have been very good at
But you have been very good,
keeping
Madam Chair.
together their reputation when they withdraw from
No,
wars.
Madam Chair, you know, it still hasn't progressed to that, and we're very thankful for the opportunity for us and for me to be educated personally on the various issues on that have arisen in this hearing. And I'll moving forward, we will be really cognizant of this issue should the discussion, should the interagency position move forward.
Thank you very much. And perhaps the last word goes to my much older relative, Ambassador Romualdez, please.
Thank you very much, my younger relative. Anyway, well,
Grabe naman yan. Ha? Relatives alam namin magka-relatives kayo, pero wag niyo namang ipamukha sa buong Pilipinas na talagang, di ba? Alam na pong namin yun.
thank you very much, Madam Chair, for this. And I totally agree with Secretary Teodoro that whatever was brought out here these are concerns that obviously we have to really look into. But I just wanted to correct one point: is there's never been any real formal negotiations or discussions with the State Department. Has just been following up with us here at the embassy in Washington, D.C. And of course, they're always anxious whether it is a yes or a no. And the sooner we do that, obviously, the better it is, because that way, by the way, it will also take them perhaps about 4 to 9 months, I understand, to be able to make sure that whatever facility that they will be using is precisely what we're concerned about, which is secure, everything that is needed for the board and lodging of these Afghan nationals will be in place. So that's why they're asking, following it up with us, and it's up to us what we want to do with it, and whatever concerns we have, whatever we want to tell them, they're prepared to listen. And if it's something that's possible, they'll do it. If not, then they go to another country for this. Itanong natin kay Secretary Manalo kasi yun ang understanding na naririnig ko na sinabi sa akin.
Interject, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Jinggoy, sorry.
Yeah,
Mas
Madam
lalo
Chair,
yata akong nalito. Pasensya.
Hindi ba doble-doble ang pag-issue ng visa? Mag-i-issue tayo ng visa dito sa Pilipinas, tapos mag-i-issue ng visa sa Amerika. Bakit din ng diretso sa Amerika? Bakit kailangan pa rito?
Well,
Mamasyal pa muna. Teka. Secretary Manalo, please. Mag-i-issue upon arrival ng visa sa Pilipinas.
Ma'am,
Pero sabi ni Ambassador Babes pagkatapos nating screen, mabibigyan natin ng visa. Upon arrival, nakapag-screen na ba tayo o umaasa lang tayo sa sinasabi ng mga Amerikano na mga okay itong mga taon to? Secretary Manalo.
Yun nga, mga ka-review. Walang ba? Hindi ba tayo bibigyan ng ng intelligence? Kasi di ba, posible may di ba, may baka lang may terrorista sa isa diyan. Oh. Hindi paano na tayo?
Nalo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think what Ambassador Romualdez meant to say is that we have to issue a visa before they arrive in the Philippines. So bibigyan sila ng
So,
time.
saan nila makukuha yung
Well,
visang yan? Dadaan muna sila sa Islamabad?
Normally, it would
Yun
have
ang
to be.
coverage eh.
It would have to be through Islamabad. Islamabad PE would issue the 9A visa para maka-enter sila.
Napakagulo naman, ang dami naman nilang papasyalan. So, iikot muna, galing Kabul, pupuntang Islamabad. Mag-a-apply sa iilang Pilipino sa embassy ron. 50,000 sila, katapat nila 3 Pilipino. Ganun ba yun?
Normally, ganun. That's what we would do now.
Grabe mga ka-review, 50,000 pala ito. Ah, napakarami po pala nito. Naku, yari tayo dito mga ka-review. Ano sa palagay niyo mga ka-review? Dapat ba talaga natin itong tanggapin? Para sa akin, naku, nasasyak lang tayo siguro mga ka-review.
Tapos, sa Islamabad, pumayag na ba yung Pakistan dito sa scheme na to?
Hindi, kinukonsult pa namin ang Islamabad.
Hindi pa alam ng Pakistan. Magugulat na lang sila, dadagsa yung mga kung sino-sino ron. Okay. Tapos, liliko na ngayon yung eroplano. Pupunta babalik sa Pinas. Ganun ba yun? Biglang landing sa Clark. Po. Electronic appearance at the counter in Islamabad. Anong level ng screening kung pindot-pindot lang? Tess.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much. Before this Afghans, which are fully vetted, with assumption,
Fully vetted
vetted by the
by the
Americans.
chief of mission of
Okay,
the U.S.
the US.
Embassy
It is still the
and not
obligation.
the Filipinos. We've never met them
No,
before.
not yet. It
Okay.
is still the Philippine obligation. It is the obligation of the Philippines to give to process them because they are Category A restricted nationals. All restricted nationals, there are other countries that are classified as such. We do a face-to-face interview, and before that, documents that we request from.
All of this is going to happen before they come to the Philippines?
That should be the case, Madam.
That should be the case. This is your and my understanding of
Yes,
what normally
yes.
occurs, right?
But you said it correctly that there is the capacity of Islamabad PE is Philippine Embassy in Islamabad is a little bit of a challenge. And at the same time, Madam Chair, it is in the concept paper of the Americans, they prefer that these Afghans will fly directly from Kabul to
Yun
Manila.
nga. Di ba diretso
So-
Kabul dito sa New
Yeah.
Clark, pupunta sa The Crib sa New Clark City, di ba?
So, yeah.
Yun ang sinasabing plano. Wala naman binanggit na Islamabad. Higit
wala
na
nga.
walang visa
Wala nga.
ang pinagsasabi. At sigurado ako si Ambassador Cervantes at ang buong Pakistan government walang alam tungkol dito. Secretary Manalo, please.
Yes, ma'am. Kung ngayon, if we agreed, halimbawa, just example, and we didn't do any change in our visa procedure, talagang dadaan sa Islamabad PE. But in the event na we are now open to this idea, we may have to find additional or different kinds of processing.
Ang hirap lang nito mga ka-review Hindi pa po sila nakapag-desisyon kung papapasukin na. Pinoproblema na agad nila yung pagbibigay ng visa. Mag-desisyon muna kayo kung papapasukin ba o hindi. Para hindi kayo magtagal dyan. Tama ba mga ka-review? Mag-desisyon dapat muna kayo. Kung papapasukin o hindi. Then saka nyo na problemahin kung saan dadaan, kung saang ruta, kung anong visa ang gamitin dyan, di ba? Opinion lang rin yan mga ka-review. Baka naman may
Like maybe
mag-react ng ano dyan
through electronic, etc. Para lang ma-accommodate yung number. But wala pa tayo dun. I'm just saying na, but if it were held today and we agreed today, ganyan, they would have to go through Islamabad.
Dahil kasi, nagtataka ako, in the United States, they very clearly have their Afghan Allies Protection Act of 2009. The legal infrastructure is very clear-cut. It was amended twice, most recently in 2021. Kayang-kaya nila ayusin yung sa kanila. Kayang-kaya nila kunin yung mga dati nilang empleyado at sa tingin ko, talagang responsibilidad nila. if they're not willing to accommodate their own employees, nor to amend, once again, they've amended twice before, the Afghan Aliens Act, why should we be the ones to bend our immigration rules, overburden our staff in Islamabad as well as New Clark City, and impose all sorts of obligations on our neighbors? Di ko naintindihan eh. Yes, Secretary Manalo, Ambassador Babes, does this seem reasonable?
Ma'am, I think we will take into account your views when we consider this further. Okay.
We do not in any way attempt to influence or curtail the president's almost absolute power in forging foreign policy. However, by the rubric of simple reasonableness, this appears to be outlandish given the bending of rules required, the imposition on our already over burdened resources, given our security status, which the Muslim Filipinos themselves declare is precarious at present. Once again, exactly how long do we think this special immigrant visa will take to be granted? 9 months is what is stated under the Afghan Allies Protection Act of the United States. 9 months ang nasa batas nila, 1 to 2 weeks ang sinabi sa concept note. Tama ba, Secretary Manalo? How far along are these Afghan nationals with their SIV applications? Alam ko, di ba, magpapakita sila ng HR, recommendation ng superior, qualifications. How far along are they? Kasi ang balita, nung dinaan sila sa Qatar at UAE, meron na silang SIV, pre-approved sila. Etong pupunta sa Pilipinas, hindi sila pre-approved. Ibang-iba ang sitwasyon sa UAE at saka sa Qatar. Doon may SIV na sila. Eto, wala pang SIV.
Kasi mga ka-review, akala kasi siguro ng US, no? Akala kasi po kasi ng Amerika, pag sinabi nila nga, eto ang gawin nyo, gagawin agad ng Pilipinas. Diba? Anong akala nyo sa Pilipinas? Walang mga isip, ang mga senador, ha? Na hindi kayo questionin. Ha? Di ba mga ka-review? Nakakainis lang talaga eh, para kasing ginagawa tayong nako talaga oh. Gaya nga ng sabi ko, di ba? Ha? Yung EDCA, nauna na. Ha? Binigyan ng additional sites. Tapos ngayon, ito naman. Nako.
Tapos nagrereklamo nga mismo yung mga American lawyers na ketagal-tagal daw sa Afghan request. Nagpe-pending daw ng higit na 4 na taon. So how far along are these guys in their special immigrant applications? Maybe Ambassador Babes was given an indication kung sana pareho lang ng Qatar at UAE, hindi nakaka-nervyos yan. Pwede na rin. Secretary Manalo, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, what the U.S. has told us is that these applicants are in the last stages of completing the process. So presumably that will fall within our 30 to 59-day requirement for stay. We would have to make very clear that that's the case, but that's what they have intimated to us, that since they're in the last stage.
The grant of a visa is like pregnancy. It's either you are or you aren't. I mean, I don't know about the last stages. There simply is no last stage.
But, presumably, we would have to make very clear that whatever process, it has to fall within the 30 to 59-day period we allow for restricted nationals. And it would have to be completed, and they would have to proceed to the United States.
Levity
If we
aside,
agree.
sir, the problem really is, Secretary, that so many time frames are being given. 1 to 2 weeks ang processing daw. Ayon sa kanilang batas, 9 months maximum daw. Ayon naman sa experience ng mga Afghan na nag-a-apply sa Amerika, kabalikat ng kanilang mga abogado, umaabot daw ng 4 years. So gaano katagal yan sa Pilipinas? 4 years maninirahan dito?
Ma'am,
Yes, but which timeline should we believe? Apakadami eh. Asa 1 to 2 weeks, 30 to 59 days, tapos andon 9 months to 4 years. Alin po?
Ma'am, I think responding to the question based on their concept note that after a trial of a few, they do not process, we can discontinue it on our option.
That's right. That's
And
right.
it is also, it also cuts against what they want to do if they will not process those notionally in here quickly because they can't process others because we will limit the number if we agree notionally. So that is the default. But we understand, and I personally am aware of the backlogs of the Homeland Security in the United States. So who can predict what will happen is anybody's guess.
That's correct. Like I said, I have personal experience with the humanitarian parole, and it grants you no status at all for years upon years. Secretary Manalo. Ay, Secretary Manalo, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, I'm just going to quote now from the concept paper, which the U.S. And on that particular case, it says that the processing for these visa cases, so those applicants, would take 30 to 60 days, after which the U.S. government would transport these Afghan nationals to the United States for permanent resettlement, or, if found ineligible, to another country. So I'm just quoting from the concept. So this would fall, I mean, assuming we agree to this.
So wala yung 1 to 2 weeks?
Wala.
Kasi yun na na-quote kay Ambassador Romualdez yata or some other DFA official.
It could take, maybe in some cases, earlier than 30 days. But I think what the U.S. means here is stops. It won't exceed 60 days.
So yan mga ka-review. Ano po ang inyong reaksyon dito? Bakit nga po ba sa Pilipinas, no? Ito lang po ang masasabi ko ng mga ka-review. Kung bakit sa Pilipinas nila nilalagay. Ha? Kung kayo po yung nakapanood na ng docu-series, no? Dito sa Netflix, may napanood po ako eh. Nakalimutan ko lang po yung pamagat ng docu-series na ito. Isang Amerikano, isang ano po, basta yung story niya, kaya sa Pilipinas siya nagtago kasi maluwag po, maluwag ang ating gobyerno at nabibigyan sila ng proteksyon, no? Yung sinasabi ko po is criminal po siya, no? Marami po siyang negosyo sa online na mga illegal, tapos dito po siya nagtago sa Pilipinas. Yan, ang sinasabi po doon sa docu-series, kaya po sa Pilipinas sila nagtago kasi maluwag po ang Pilipinas. So ano po ang koneksyon dito sa mga Afghan refugees na ito? Una po, 'di ba, sa limitation lang ng nila ng visa, no? Pwede kasi nilang 'di ba, masuhulan mga taga-gobyerno na magtagal sila rito. At masuhulan ang mga taga-gobyerno na payagan sila dito. Kasi nga po maluwag ang ating batas dito sa Pilipinas, mga ka-review. Ano po sa inyong palagay? May naiisip po ba kayo na dahilan kung bakit sa Pilipinas nila pinupurso na dito talaga manirahan itong mga Afghan refugees, mga ka-review? So ano man po ang iyong komento, reaksyon o kritisismo about sa balitang ito, paki-comment lang po sa baba at pag-usapan natin yan para at least po alam ng ating mga kababayan kung ano po ang inyong hinanaing mga reaksyon, komento sa issue ito. Right? Alright mga ka-review, kung bago ka pa lang at hindi pa nakapag-subscribe sa ating munting channel, please don't forget to subscribe. At i-click na rin po ang bell notification para updated ka po sa lahat ng na-upload sa ating balita araw-araw. Okay? Palike and share na din po mga ka-review para mas marami pa pong mga kababayan natin sa ibang bansa ang makapanood ng makabuluhang balitang ito. Maraming salamat po.